There's a lot of groups that are fighting for Medicare for all now. First of all, in the Senate, of course, Bernie Sanders leading that movement, and other progressives have joined in. And in the House, John Conyers is doing a wonderful job, and he has proposed a piece of legislation that Justice Democrats, other groups, PCCC, et cetera, are fighting for. And CNN notices this, and they write an article about it. That's great, and until we get to the framing in a second. But first, let's tell you the beginning of the article. They say Democrats eyeing the 2020 presidential contest could soon face a Medicare for all litmus test from the party's progressive base. Now, look, at that point, I'm keeping an open mind because they could be framing it in a way where it's like, oh, because if you don't know, I've been covering politics for over 20 years. Usually when reporters in mainstream media talk about a litmus test, what they're saying is that the people that are applying that litmus test are unreasonable by definition. They think that litmus tests are wrong, and this is, again, a macro point. I'm not necessarily putting it on this writer yet. Let's find out the rest of what he wrote here. But it is true that we would love for them to do Medicare for all. That would be wonderful. So fair enough, at least in the beginning, okay? So they go on to explain, after last month's failure of President Donald Trump and congressional Republicans to repeal Obamacare, progressives are going on the offense, mounting a new push for single-payer health insurance. That's very true, that's exactly right. And that's great, I wanna go on the offense. The Republicans bungled it, and by the way, today we got news that their new effort at healthcare also failed. They still couldn't come to an agreement. Well, good news for them, we have something incredibly popular, Medicare for all, and it would allow Donald Trump to deliver on his promise of covering everyone and doing it at a lower price. Perfect, come on board. At first, we need all the Democrats on board because a lot of the corporate establishment Democrats have not signed on. And when we ask them to sign on, apparently that's a litmus test. Okay, so now here it comes though. Here's the line where it reveals how they actually view this story. So Eric Bradner writes for CNN, it's long been a policy dream of many liberals, referring to Medicare for all. But Democrats who live in states and districts that were carried in 2016 by Trump are certain to be sensitive to the political risks of supporting what Republicans call socialized medicine. Okay, there we have it, usual mainstream media stuff. The assumption is this is unpopular, and for the people who live or who are going to run in those seats where Trump won either by a small majority or a large majority, well then, since you're proposing something that's for the super left and it's a litmus test, it's obviously not gonna work in these districts, so they're sensitive to it. It is a huge political risk, and the Republicans will call it socialized medicine. I have a crazy proposal for the Democrats, that when the Republicans say something, you say something back. You also have a mouth, it functions. You could also run ads. You could also do public speaking engagements. You could also go on TV. You could fight back. Now, a fair question then is, well, is it popular or is it unpopular? And that's a question that I wish CNN asked and informed their audience about. Because if it's actually unpopular, we might love it on the left. But I understand what they're saying. In close districts, you might not want to run on an unpopular issue. Fair enough. All you got to do is investigate a tiny bit. So what's the reality? Well, according to a Kaiser Family Foundation poll, nearly 2/3 of Americans say they have a positive reaction to the term Medicare for all. A separate poll done recently as well, even when they called it government running health insurance, still at 60% approval. Now, that is mass. 60% of Americans say the government should be responsible for ensuring healthcare coverage for all Americans. That's the Pew Research Center. So CNN, you didn't bother to find out if it was popular or not popular? You just assumed it wasn't popular because you assume the Republican talking points are correct. And by the way, it's not just the mainstream media. The establishment Democrats feel the same way. Oh man, I can't sign on. Oh my God, if I signed on, it's a far left progressive litmus test. They'll say it's socialized medicine. How about you say I got 2/3 of Americans behind me? Now let's just do a little bit of politics here. And I think you guys can handle this. I know they think you're unsophisticated and they're the elites, but work with me. It's a math problem that I think is fairly easy. If you're running a political campaign, would you rather be on the side of 2/3 of Americans or 1/3 of Americans? Oh, I've got an answer. 2/3 of all Americans. That is the more popular position. Now, CNN could have written this article in a completely different light if they A, put in actual facts, which they didn't, and B, then said, oh, well, given that 2/3 of Americans are in favor of Medicare for all, why aren't all the Democrats running on an incredibly popular issue that is in their camp and would help defeat Republicans? Well, that would be a pretty good question instead of going, Medicare. I mean, Medicare overall is at a popularity even more than this. Over 70%, it's the second most popular program in the whole country. Number 1 is Social Security, number 2 is Medicare. So you're telling me running on the second most popular program is bad in politics? The assumptions of the establishment are rigged to be in favor of the right wing. And they put this scary stuff out there, and then the establishment Democrats see it on CNN, and they're like, oh my God, I don't want the litmus test. Oh, you leftists, oh God, you want me to go with 2/3 of the country? That's crazy. None of our donors agree. Okay, I know you guys agree, so let's go ahead and rev up this petition. It's already on fire. It's justicedemocrats.com/single-player. And what you're asking people to do is to get Democrats, we're not even talking about Republicans, can we at least get our own house in order? Let's get the Democrats to sign on to Medicare for all. That's all this petition is asking. It takes about 5 to 10 seconds to do this. And by the way, this has already moved over a dozen Democrats in the House. And John Conyers has publicly thanked Justice Democrats, the nurses union, brand new Congress. This is the left sticking together, fighting together, and saying, hey, we're right about this, both on policy grounds and on political grounds. So you have already moved a dozen congressmen, but we got a lot to go. There's still 109 Democrats in the House that haven't signed on. It isn't a matter of us enforcing our ideology on anybody. If you're a Democrat, you should already have this ideology. We're trying to help you get to a place where you recognize that it would actually help you win. It's a win-win for us. Take the help, take the lifeline, instead of sitting there and believing what the mainstream media and the establishment and the donors tell you. And the more people that sign on to that petition, the stronger this will be. Let's go get them. We can actually do this. We are right. It is intensely popular, and it is a much better program. It's a program that almost all other Western developed countries have. We can do it too. We too can be this good in healthcare. And right now we're not. This is the answer. Podcast The Young Turks anytime you want. tytnetwork.com/join.
I think it's weird.
No, it's not weird. In fact, you'll think,
I'm like a smart person.
Do it now. tytnetwork.com/join.